All right, guys. Just want to make sure that we are live right now and doing some admin just to make sure that you guys can hear me and you guys can see me. Let's test some of the audio. Okay. All right, awesome. So I think we are going to go on this straight away. So welcome. Well, I know it's a little bit late right now, but I really rushed through all my appointments today to make sure that I get this thing out so that every one of you can benefit from what I'm going to share with you tonight. So, all right, so for those of you who are here with me live, just shout out inside the chat, put in a hi, say okay, I can see you so that at least I know that you guys have just joined in. All right, so for the many of you who are here for the first time, all right, we are doing live on a property project review. Okay, so this is very important. So I'll be covering quite in-depth in terms of all the data research that we have done regarding this one particular project. And I'm super excited. Okay, so one of the key things that I think we want to make sure that we go on is to ensure that today you as a homeowner, whether you are thinking from an investment perspective or you are buying it for own stay, you can actually make informed decisions, not just based on guessing, but based on what your research, your data and numbers. And so that's why today we are going to do this very systematically. Okay, let me just make sure that we are all live. Cool, great. All right, cool. All right, so why am I so excited? There are two things. Okay, there are two things that I'm so excited about, and I want you all to faster come in. Okay, why? Because so that you all have more time to tune in now, and I can give you what is the latest update regarding this project's pricing, which is very important. And yes, you hear it from me first again because this one is really we just got this information. Okay, particularly really just got this, and I tell you, if you miss this project, you're going to regret it big time. So don't say I never say first. And there's also another reason why I'm excited. Okay. So I've already went to the virtual flat doing the preview and we kind of see it for the first time. And I can tell you all, this is ooh la la. Really, I think tell you fantastic. All I can say about this project is that it's been a while since I kind of got excited, okay, regarding seeing a show flat and seeing how the development with its large landscape settings, and it's also taking almost 80% of it. So it is kind of very grand, very premium, very exclusive, and most importantly, the quality finishing, I tell you, top notch. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen from everything in terms of the show flats, the quality, the furnishing, the materials they're using. I think even now I'm still dreaming about it. All right, that's why I came back quickly, do some research and making sure that you guys have the first hand of information right here. Okay, let me just make sure that we are all right, cool. All right, so especially for this project, right, the flooring that they provided, I tell you, you guys really must make time to see this. Okay, it's really a vast comparison to many others that I've seen, and I'm super transparent. Okay, so that's the number one thing. And the number two thing that is very important is the pricing. Okay, and I have insider information I'm going to share with you very shortly. So I've seen the show flats, met the developer team, and I can be very upfront, very transparent. They are priced not to just sell. Okay, they are not priced to just sell. They are priced to crush the market. Okay, they are really trying to crush the market among all the different launches. Okay, so I tell you to stay on because I'll be unveiling the price point range later on very shortly. And today we are talking about what? We're talking about Nava Grove. Okay, Nava Grove is at District 21, in case you do not know, and it's just on the fringe of CCR and one road off actually. Also, the advantage you are closest is that you are near CCR, but you don't pay the CCR price. Okay, so that is one of the advantage. And don't mix it up with Novo Place. This is not Novo Place. Today's video is about Nava Grove. Okay, so there's an EC, there's a plantation close. That one is different. So don't mix up. If not, you later you go in and do the wrong thing, then not so good. All right, cool. Let me just making sure that everybody is here. All right, awesome. All right, so this is I mean, when we are doing live streaming, every now and then I need to kind of check and making sure that everybody is here with me live also. Just want to make sure that everybody, yeah, give me a second. All right, cool. Everybody is still here, so no issue on that. All right, cool. All right, so why am I so excited about Nava Grove, right? So one of the key things is that today as we are comparing Nava, right, there's also another project that is very, very similar in terms of the comparison. All right, so comment below, all right, because we're going to do just that, and we will dive in very quickly into what we're going to go through. And if this is your first time here, you have not subscribed to my channel, please just subscribe, click the red button. And we do a lot of different reviews. We do a lot of educational content. Help me out so that we can continue to grow and we can continue to provide you with all the different strategies that is current and relevant for yourself and your family's property journey. So as usual, I will not be covering the details, or all the details that you can read on brochures, information online. Those information I won't cover, developer, size of development, all these things I won't cover. I want to go really in depth, okay, in terms of the research. All right, so those you can read from brochures. No need to watch video on, okay. So later on, I'll be covering three aspects, okay, three aspects. The number one is how do you actually choose units as an investor, as a homeowner. All right, I like to call our community as a home investor because we are thinking both as a homeowner as well as an investor kind of mind. So that one is important. And number two, we're going to cover is what are the key selection, okay, that you should take note of in a project selection, and be it whether it's a facing, whether it's a height level, you know, and also in terms of pricing, what are some key things as a home investor you should be taking note of. And number three thing is I'm going to share with you some of the mistakes, okay, during the ballot process. If this is your first time going into it, you should be aware of. All right, we have been to multiple balloting process, and there's always a lot of mistakes made by a lot of different consumers out there. So my role here in this video is really to share with you so that you don't fall into all these traps that is out there, and it's a very obvious one. But suddenly, we don't know why, we just lose our mind and then we just do it. Okay. So the balloting process is kind of, I won't say scary, but it's kind of, you need to have a very strong mind. And the only way to have a strong mind, right, is that you have a third party like us, right, beside you to guide you along, or to hold your hand so that we can guide you through the process. Okay, so very, very important. So later on, you really, really want to stay all the way to the end because I'll be sharing with you one thing, maybe, no, actually not one, actually two things in Nava Grove that other projects don't have one. Okay, and I share with you, this is very, very rare gem in such a premium location, in such a private enclave. You cannot get it somewhere else. And of course, last but not least, we will also cover what pricing strategy, and that one most important because I'm super excited. Today you guys are here, and I want to make sure that I really give you guys the rest. So with Nava Grove launching soon, okay, we cannot help but also do a very deep dive comparison to the neighbor Pinetree Hill. Okay, so we really need to cover these two, cannot just cover one and then the other one don't now. So we're going to do both comparison, but we're not going to cover the surface things. We're going to really go dive deeper into these two comparisons. And you can also find one of my video because Nava Grove is actually under the harmonization. So you can actually find one of my videos somewhere in my channel where I talk about it. So that one you can leave it after this video, then you do. So currently, besides Nava Grove and Pinetree Hill, right, there's actually another two more projects in a very, very similar situations. All right, how many of you want to make a guess? What are the other two projects that is very closely comparable in terms of Nava Grove as well as Pinetree Hill? All right, I want you to comment the answer inside the chat. All right, if you all can guess which one now. It's same thing. One is harmonized, the other one is not. All right, so very, very specifically, and give you all another hint. They're really side by side also, or side by side also. If you all can guess, just type in the comment. All right. Right. Of course, yeah, we are talking about what? Emerald of Katong. Okay. In Emerald Katong in comparison to what? Tembusu Grand. So these two is like what do you call it? Championship situation, right? Duel, right? They call it in wrestling. What do you call it? Couples match or something like that. Also, when you compare, you also must compare it. But at the same time, for Emerald of Katong, you cannot just compare Emerald Katong and Tembusu Grand. There's also what? Grand Diamond. There's also the Continuum. And these are the four big boys there, and they are very, very new. So I stay tuned and really subscribe to the channel because I will be doing one new comparison regarding this big four. Okay, the last time I did this comparison was the last big three. So now we've got the big four. So if you really want me to update you on the latest big four that I'm going to do a comparison, all right, subscribe the channel. Make sure you put the notification bell so that every time when I do a new video, you guys are updated on it. All right, so let me just switch to my screen and let's start the ball rolling. Give me a second. Let me just make sure that we can do this. All right. So for Nava, of course, the launch is actually very soon. Okay, the launch is actually very soon. So we are actually doing the preview on the 2nd to 12th November, and the booking is actually on the 16th. So that says, right, I also want to share with you all there's a delay in between Emerald of Katong and as well as the Chuan Park. So with these two launches, mega launches going to delay, right? Actually, we don't know until when. Okay, so these two projects has been delayed, and it seems like, I mean, there's also noises lah. It may even drag until December, that kind of period, and they are willing to launch even during the December holiday. So we don't know. So when they delayed, meaning what? There is also a huge risk in waiting. Okay, there's always a big risk in waiting. Why? Because there could be other good deals in other launches. And remember today, while consumers like us, we are buying property, we are comparing, developers, they themselves are also competing among themselves. Okay, they all have multiple hundreds of units to clear. They are also very, very carefully in terms of their pricing to make sure that it's sensitive for us consumer to purchase. So I always believe that today, when they fight, it's better for us. Okay, because why? They will always want to, because for us, one buyer, we can only buy one unit, right? So they want to try any way for us to buy their property. So this is why it will be, there will be definitely be good deals out there, all right, minus all of Chuan and Emerald because they are not launched yet. So I believe there will be damn good, fantastic deals out there. And in this video later on at the end, I will share with you the pricing on this. I tell you, you really don't want to miss one. I already work out the numbers. It's what I call crazy price. Crazy enough for us to what? Miss it if you don't follow through this video. So in any case, when we are, if you, let's say today you are already comparing Nava, maybe you're already wanting to buy Nava Grove and you kind of want somebody to help you, then you can actually scan the QR code. Or maybe you already are comparing Nava with some other projects that you actually intend to already enter, then you scan the QR code so that we can what? You can help you with a second opinion on what directions that you are going for. Is it safer for you? Is it the ideal property for you? And we will run everything through what? Research data and numbers. Right, so scan the QR code and we will get in touch with you and see how well we can help you. All right, so again, let me just repeat for Nava Grove, the preview is on the 2nd to the 12th November. This has been confirmed, and then the booking is on the 16th. And so do reach out if you really need help to secure your VVIP preview slots. And I can tell you, even today, you are not buying. All right, reach out to us. Why? Because it's worth to go and take a look. Okay, and I will share with you what is called premium. Okay, what is called premium in comparison at all. So this is very important. All right. So of course, if let's say we talk about the entire area for Nava Grove, right? We want to also take a look at comparing the neighborhoods. Okay, very important. Okay, so today purchasing a property is not just about, hey, I guess this area I'm very familiar. I just want to buy this location. A lot of times we also want to do some comparison to see what is the age, how many units, what's the supply in that area. Are there enough demand to support? Because this has everything to do with what our growth potential of our property. So let's just have a general view about what happened in the entire Nava Grove site. All right, so of course we go from the oldest to the youngest. So we have Pine Grove. All right, this one was already 1984, 660 units, leasehold properties. And you can see that the density, 1,353 square feet. Oh, nowadays you cannot get this kind anymore. All right, why? Because the older developments, they are usually what? Much bigger plot of land, and their units are lesser. That's why you will have some, like even the east side, Mandarin Garden, Laguna Park, some of all this. You have massive land space, okay, a lot of area, but the number of units are actually not congesting. So this is something that moving forward, are we heading into that direction that are we going to get more space? You and I, we know land is scarce in Singapore. It's definitely going to be not this kind of density anymore. All right. So as the property gets younger and younger, you can see the numbers also start to reduce. Like Astor Green, right? Since 1995, about 10, 11 years later, suddenly the density strings already. You see, 1,147 square feet per unit. All right. So this is mainly based on the landscaping that they have. And next, then we have what? Cavendish Park. So you can see, do you see the density keep coming down and down, right? So this one is TOP 1996, right? Just 1 year, but the density immediately dropped almost 200 square feet per unit. All right, so of course, all these properties in terms of age are already much older. All right, so we have to accept that today, if you're looking at bigger space, you want to have more kind of greenery, large greenery, you have to go for the older ones, because the new ones definitely will not be able to supply you with those kind of environment. And then, of course, we have Pandan Valley, TOP in 1997 with 660 units. And the density you can see is 591 already. So everything kind of gets smaller. But how many of you agree Pandan Valley is actually very, very big? Super big, actually, but actually the density is actually only about 600 square feet per unit. So it was actually quite surprising when I was doing the research. And that's why when we look at some of all these developments, right, the bigger projects, unfortunately, are definitely harder to unblock. Why? Because the plots are very big, okay, to digest, okay. And today, a lot of times, even if you look at the last 10 years, we are seeing more consortium. That means a combine of developers to purchase the GLS or even to unblock certain properties. So we're seeing more combination of developers. So for big land plots like this, Pine Grove or even Pandan Valley, is massive. So how, if two developers are going to work, if it's not enough, then they may need to get 3, 4, or even 5. Then the question is, how are they going to split in terms of the arrangement, right? So the more developers playing the game on one plot is also too many directions to go. So sometimes why some of the bigger developments is very difficult to go for en bloc is also some of all these business situations. Okay, all right. So now you can see it's a far cry, all right, versus later on where you see some of the newer ones. Okay, so one of the key thing that today, right, you can see that for Trizon, okay, this one is the youngest in this entire area. If you're talking about, it's only about 676 square feet per unit. So moving forward for the new ones that is going to TOP in the next 3 to 4 years, right? What do you think the numbers are? Okay, so let us take a look at Pinetree Hill. All right, density 466 square feet. All right, 250 units, and they are going to be TOP maybe about 2027. And we look at Nava Grove. So Nava Grove is slightly better, all right, about 490 square feet. So this one is one of, in terms of space, is better, is already much bigger than Pinetree Hill. So one key thing is that Nava Grove, they have actually catered, all right, 70 to 80% plus in terms of landscaping. So because you are in a kind of a more exclusive location, all right, it's a more premium, quiet area. So I think one of the key things that developer, even for Pinetree Hill, what they have done is they don't want it to be clustered. Okay, later on I'll share with you the reason why. So even today, right, those who know this area, they know that this area quite quiet one. They know that, hey, this area no MRT, okay, no schools, shopping malls also don't have. And the people there don't bother that much. It's just a different way of life, you see. So they are so comfortable with it. So if let's say you get somebody in the east, if let's say they prefer the bustling area where you're just one street away, and then you can go for the cafes and the bars and the clubs, right, at the bar area, right, to hang out. So it's a very different vibe. If you ask those group of people to come here, right, they'll be like, wow, why everything, the pace is a little slower, right? But for those people who have been already in this location, right, Pandan Valley area, right, they will want to enjoy this space, this quietness, this I need to drive to somewhere, and not everything is kind of not convenient, or that's how it is. That's why today, right, in this video, right, I'm not going to do all the comparison into, hey, why no MRT lah, why the distance so far away lah. I mean, all this, y'all will already know if you are looking at this location. So I don't want to spend time to convince you why no MRT is good lah, no amenities is good lah, transportation have to take so far away out. But let us understand that this is how this location is like. Okay, so let us accept it first so that it's easier for us to digest later on. Because everybody is entitled, right, for the different kind of environment they want, so you also have your own preference. Your friend also have their own preference. I also have my own preference. So let's not judge too ahead, right? So today we really want to look at from a lens of a home investor perspective. So today is 400 plus considered small? How many of you agree that this is small? If it's small, type in small. 400 plus square feet. If it's small, okay. So what happened is that today I want to share with you all is that today one of the key thing is, let's do a quick comparison, okay. If you ask me, this is, I call generous already into this context. Why generous? Okay, because for Pinetree and Nava, we're talking about 400 plus. Okay, so just to give you a quick overview, for Nava Grove, it's actually a JV between MCL land and Cinama's land as well. So Nava Grove is 552 units and 24 story each block. And the thing is, because there is this space, there's also only a catering of 442 car park, and all the car park lots are basement. why I want to stress basement. Because in my previous video, somebody comment, I never say for Emerald Katong that it's a basement car park. So thank you for the feedback. So I'm now very cautious about sharing some of these things so that I can I take your feedback and I also want to share. So thank you to the person who actually highlight that, hey, I should also cover the car park. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So keep the comments coming. All right, I take them with a very positive element to also take what you share with me so that I can also improve at the same time. Because why do I say that 400 plus for Nava Grove, right, is extremely generous? Because today, if you just go to east side, you will see the density is much, much tighter. The density for, I mean, we don't talk about Haycourt. Haycourt is an older property, right? But even is an older property at 2020 over years, right? Their density is already at 585 square feet. That means generally, even the older properties are having a tighter space. Then Tembusu Grand is 330 square feet. Emerald of Katong, 261. So this is something that is very expected. Okay, if you don't know about the east side, then I don't know where have you been living. Okay, so when you go to the east side, right, it's very normal that you get to have buildings after buildings and things are kind of a little bit tighter. And that's why the convenience of everything is there. Your supermarket, your cafe, everything is walking distance, you see. So everything is kind of tight. Because in the east side, the land are also extremely precious, because a lot of them are already being developed and they are being built in such a way. Right, so that's why in the east, right, you must always have a wider view, a wider point of view, all right, because the east side also have certain premium to it. So if you're somebody who favor more privacy, you want the greens, the landscaping, you want to come back from a hard day's work, right, and then you will come back to a zen, very calming kind of environment, right, then the comparing of the density will make a lot of sense. Because the last thing you want is after your hard day's work in your CBD area, then you come back home, another concrete jungle, then your heart attack later. Okay, so that's why sometimes we also want to we want to put a price tag to our living environment. Okay, not everything just talk about numbers. We also want to pay more for our own well-being, our own enjoyment. If not, we work so hard for what, right? So if you want to have another opinion about this, right, maybe I do another video or then we can see how it goes. But coming back to Nava Grove, right? Okay, let's study the master plan. This is crucial. Why? Because understanding this entire master plan also give us a good overview about what is upcoming, what is happening in the years to come. And I want to stress a note. There are a lot of, okay, I cannot say people, a lot of sharing online, okay, and they are really sharing incorrect information. If you have watched my previous video that I talked about Emerald of Katong, right, you can realize that I actually spotted one major important point about the nursing home that actually nobody is sharing. Because this is how we want to go very in-depth in terms of research, so that to give you a consumer a ease of mind that we have already done a lot of our homework, that today when we are advising you, you are in the right position and very safe position to enter with us together. Right. So later on, I will be sharing with you some of the key things that I realized what other people are sharing are incorrect. Okay, after I do a little bit deeper research. All right. So it could be due to time or what, but I just want to take this time to share with you all more. All right. So some of the things that I'm sharing here, perhaps you never come across. And that's why we always want to study about master plan, because whatever we do today, whatever you buy, you do have the intention to sell. Okay. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, there is still this intention to sell. So a master plan will give us a good idea about what's going to happen in the next 3, 5, 8 years down the road. Okay. And one of the key mistakes is that they may see master plan differently. So the important thing is to see what's the future transformation, and then we will see. So you can see all this color. So where is Pinetree? Okay, where is Pinetree? Can you all spot out? Okay. So Pinetree as well as Nava are basically side by side. Okay, they are basically side by side. So you should be able to actually understand, right? Today, one of the key things that we are looking at the master plan is all this yellow, orangey color, right? They are all residential. Okay, that means they can what? They can build what do you call it? They can build condos, they can build HDBs, they can build different location. Okay, in terms of the different type of property types in the orange zone. I call it orangey yellow or orangey yellow zone. All right, so you can see the entire location is all what? It's all residential. And then you will see some of the greens, all right? And then you will see some of the areas where they plot out what? They plot out as subject to detailed planning. That's why we are going to dive a little bit deeper into seeing how we see this area. So where is Nava Grove? Okay, let me just draw it out so that you all can see it better. Right, so Nava is actually here. Okay, so this is Nava Grove, Pine Grove, Parcel B. Okay, right, so this is, of course, on the right is where the pine tree is. So very important. So one of the key things that I want to share with you, although today you are seeing this all residentials, you must always remember that there are also some zones that are in, from a map perspective, it may not be what it is. Okay, so what do I mean? Because ultimately, right, there is this other area where there's currently, there are also still forests. I don't know whether you're aware or not. So where is the forest? This forest is actually this entire area. Okay, this entire area are the forests. Okay, lower forest. Okay, they are the lower forest. Okay, so of course, based on the master plan, you will already know that there are two HDB areas in this location. Okay, one is the HDB Pandang Glades. All right, and that's where you can see this is HDB. Okay, they call it the Ulu Pandang Glades. Then you can see the green color zone. Okay, so this is going to be like a green park. Then you will have the next HDB again. And this is called the Ulu Pandang Banks. Okay. So let me just show you from let me just clear out this one so that you can see better. Okay. Yeah. So you can see they already have plans for the HDBs. All right. And these are all from straight Chris timeline. It's not we anyhow research, right? So you kind of know actually this area already are zoned out for HDB in this location. And why did they do this? Because Dover MRT is just in front. Also, we always know as long as there's an MRT, the closest they want to build is always HDB. Or all your private properties, EC are always further away. HDB always get a priority. So that one important. Then we are talking about 4,400 are going to be launched there. So this also is an important part to know because we also need HDB upgraders in future to also buy a property. So in a master plan, in a location, you cannot just have purely only private enclave. Last time it used to segmentize HDBs. HDBs, how private is private zone, right? But moving forward, I believe from a master plan understanding, they're going to merge both HDBs and condos together so that there's also a chance for the HDB upgraders to move on to the condos. Why? If you ask me, primarily, okay, 90% of homeowners, when they move location, they don't like to move other places where they unknown. They always want to move back to the same vicinity. So that is also a reason that it allows the homeowners who are, let's say, on HDBs to upgrade to a private property in the same location, same neighborhood where they are most familiar with. So this also allows them to have this upgrading process where they can continue their journey in property. Also, this is how I interpret why they are trying to merge a lot of condos as well as HDB together. And we are talking about even very, very prime locations like Perth City. They are also going to have a mix of private property as well as HDBs at the same time. So that's when the master plan planning, our urban planning has changed. The thought process of us as homeowners, we cannot rely on what we know 20 years ago. We cannot rely on strategies that we have been doing for the last 10, 20 years. We have to move forward with how the future generations are going to stay. So that's very important. Okay, so even though the Dover Forest is zoned as some parts they are all zoned as residential. I want to show you all. This is what I found out. Okay, so I placed the street directory map over so you all can see the Dover Forest. That's where you can see Ulu Pandang Banks as well as you can see the glades. So there is this piece of the Dover Forest here. Okay, so this is the entire Dover Forest. So are there plans yet? Actually, now it's still a forest. Now it's still a forest. And if you look at, just now I show you all, right, it's under subject to detailed planning. So whenever you see subject to detailed planning, please don't fall into the trap. Even though it's been zoned as residential, they haven't confirmed is it going to be. So you don't just jump into it, and everybody will be telling you, it's going to be residential lah. So with residential, they build more condos, or HDBs is going to help push up your prices, blah, 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 blah. Yes, nothing wrong with that. But how long do you need to wait for it? That is the very big question mark. Are you going to wait 10? Are you going to wait 10, 20 years for it? Right. So there are some developments that I know when they were being when we were being pitched, or should I say when they shared with us, right? We are talking about, I don't know, 10, 15 years later, then will happen one, but they will tell you, wow, this is the best because it's going to happen very soon. So I believe that's like misinterpretation now, which is not so ideal. All right, so I would rather do some due diligence check myself. Even you as a homeowner, always do your due diligence check. Don't just listen it off. Do some basic research and then clarify and get second opinion. So if today you kind of already want to do something and you want to seek a second opinion, may as well hear from another perspective, another point of view, and you may get more insights to help yourself make a better decision. So please don't fall into this kind of trap. Because why? Because when I research, right, when I research this, right, what is it? Okay. Wow, quite nice one, eh? The Ulu Pandan banks or HDB, wow, or quite nice one. So anyway, so what I've researched on, what I realized is, of course, this is just based on from a research online that I saw, which they already are. This one is already ongoing. This one is already done. It's already out. So in future there will be a future BTO beyond this period, right? And this is what I found. Okay, even though here stated that it's going to be HDB, but what does it show on master plan? Okay, what does it show on master plan? Later on we'll come back and see again. Okay, because the master plan shows what? Pink color, right? Can you see? Pink color. So pink color is actually what? Actually, pink color is residential with commercial. And let me clean this up a little bit so you all can see better. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, so pink color is residential with commercial. And you can see that there's this 3.6 plot ratio already stated, which means this is going to be very firm. So anything that is subject to detailed planning, 50-50 lah. But anything that has already a number to it, meaning in master plan, this will be zoned for it. But can this number change? Yes. Okay. Every 5 years when there's a revision of master plan, even the very fundamental changes are the numbers. That means they may be higher, they may be lower, but very rare that we will see them have a total change out from a color perspective. All right. So that's why every single 5 years, we always take in a new master plan to monitor, to make sure that things are done correctly. All right. So this is actually a residential with commercial. And why do they want to do it? The MRT is only in front. Okay, MRT is only in front. So it makes a lot of sense for people to also look into this as a form of potential in future. And would it be a link to MRT? Yeah, the MRT is there. So perhaps this mixed development, will have a linkage to MRT also. All right. So of course, for Dover MRT, you all know that it's not underground, it's all above ground. So there could be some linkage here that could benefit this entire region if you don't know yet. So this is what I researched. And the most importantly is that today I also saw this Dover Forest West. This is going to be left undeveloped until 2031, even though the master plan shows that it is what? It is a residential site. So this one, if you ask me, I also question mark, to be honest, because ultimately there was a big hoo-ha. You all can go and read on the news about this forest, because when they wanted to turn it into residential, always got people complain on, or the nature, those experts, they always will come in and say that, hey, we shouldn't do it. So it seems like half of it they are going to do, but the second half, question mark. But this is what I found out. Hope that this information also can give you some clue that today we cannot just base on fully master plan. We also must do more in-depth research. All right, so moving on, this one is the bottom part where we have Dover Forest, right? Then we must go up already. Go up to see what? Wow, now we have the different top view of pine from Nava. Nava is here. Okay, from Nava Grove. So on the top part, then we have what? We have the left side, which is Maju Forest. And then we have Clementi Forest. They are all zoned for residential. But again, you see subject. Okay, so subject one, just take note. We don't want to commit to ourselves too much, but we just take it as it is. Because even if they want to clear the forest, so fast, man. Also take a while one, right? You see, cannot be so quickly they want to redevelop everything, then ultimately Singapore will be very hot lah, if we really do that. Also, just take note of this element that I believe that it could be done, but may not be so soon. So especially for forested area, it's a little bit different now. So a tip is that you also want to make sure that you cross-check between different platforms, not just looking at the master plan. Also, as I mentioned just now, master plan can change every 5 years, very minor. Also, sometimes this top of the view information can help you make a better decision, because master plan is only 5 years. For us, we also study the concept plan, which goes beyond 10 to 20 years, to have a better projection to help you all in terms of your property journey. Right. So if you really want to have a more in-depth analysis on which area is highly zoned for growth, whether your timeline is midterm, meaning 5 to 6 years or 8 years, let us know. We can guide you through which are the areas we should go for step by step with the resources that we have. And why are we spending time on this surrounding? Because this is a highly nature environment. We have a very high nature. And any changes to all these forests, right, will actually have a huge impact in terms of the future transformation as well. Okay, because imagine today you buy this location is because of forested area, then overnight suddenly everybody becomes concrete. Wow, then you also like, hey, then you don't enjoy the tranquility portion anymore. So that's why we also want to take note of this. And one of the key things is that knowing certain things into the future does give you some edge to determine what's your game plan, how long you can hold this property for, and that will give you a more clarity of plan. So we are a little bit more kiasi, so we always kind of plan ahead. Even today, you kind of know, oh, my next plan is going to be in the next 5 to 8 years. We also want to kind of think, okay, what potential is going to be next? All right, so always take into consideration buying with the intention to sell. Okay, that's how we guide you to become a home investor. And why do we want to do it? Because remember, I just now shared, right? We don't need to look at MRT effect, so we're not looking at it. And if you're comparing for transports and amenities, there's also nothing. Okay, why? Because if you want those things within walking distance, you wouldn't be coming into this location. You would choose somewhere else. Go and choose somewhere else instead of regretting. Okay, I have other videos that I actually comment about other property projects that you can actually reach out as well if you need to. But if this place have MRT, it's actually quite ideal lah, if you ask me. But don't have means don't have lah. Why do we want to kind of draw a straight line from the Nava Grove all the way to Dover, right? Although it's less than 1 km walk lah. Although it's less than 1 km and but you still have to go around so it's definitely more than 1 km, you see. So sometimes people always mention that, hey, today I will plot one MRT somewhere and then I just draw one straight line. Hey, that's how close it is. I don't think that's the way to do it at all. And sometimes MRT, I do know a lot of homeowners, they buy into certain properties, but the MRT is wrongly being advised. So I just want to share with you a very clear case study. Like say 780 meters, then what they do, they just say, hey, very near. So this is not the case now. So today you are also Dover MRT and Maju MRT is under construction, then Clementi MRT, then they will say that, wow, you are so near to each other. Come on. Okay, we know ourselves now, because why we don't want to misinterpret this kind of situation of the MRT. So drive is better now. Just take the buses. I think the buses are also very convenient, because you don't want to fall into the situation where previously, I'm sure some of you may know. All right, when key residences was launched, a lot of people are speculating about the Cross Island line is going to be in front of key residences. Some of them even say Maju Camp is going to move, and then Clementi Forest is also going to be zoned for residential. Then all them talking about, wow, there's going to be an underground MRT. So I always ask today, if there's an existing area where it's easier for them to have, right? That's why they built their Maju MRT station outside. It's no, I wouldn't say that it's not near key residences, but it's not like direct key residences. There's a lot of speculation during then. So will they be building one exit here? Quite impossible, right? So long, right? You see. So that's why sometimes when we study this, I always believe if there's no firm information, okay, that is already concrete, the rest are all guessing game. All right, we take it with a pinch of salt. If we want to buy into those areas, listening to those, we buy. All right, but anything comes out from it, we can't fault anybody. Is willing buyer, willing willing acceptance, if you ask me. So of course, today when I look at Maju MRT being set up here, then my only question I always ask, why would government build an MRT here when the density is actually quite low, meaning low population density? So we know that there are some areas in Singapore where the MRTs are being built, but they're not being open. So one of my clients keep complaining, like Hume Station, if you all know. Hume Station been there for the longest time, but not open, not ready for operation. So she, every time I go and visit her, she always complain, how come not open? How come I want to use, I cannot use? You know why? Because from the government, it's also what? Ridership, right? It's ridership versus population there. So if they have very low ridership, actually their cost of operating is extremely high. So by closing it, it actually makes more sense. So for Maju, if you ask me, is this a very low population density? I believe so, because it's only the schools and then you have a lot of the landed property owners. And landed property owners, do they actually use the MRT? No lah. So they actually drive a lot. But it becomes a connectivity, like if you go to 6th Avenue, all right, 6th Avenue MRT, the downtown line, it's actually a very expensive MRT line because most of the people there, they don't drive. But with the MRT, it acts as a connectivity to other places like town area easier. So it actually reduces the traffic also. So when MRT so expensive, being built in a low density area, then I will start asking, or I ask myself, could there be more future plans? Okay, because Maju is stated for 2030. Okay, completion plus. Because this is the second phase. This is not the first phase. First phase will complete at least, but because of COVID also got some delay. So by 2030, 2035, there about phase 2 should be ready. So during this period from now until then, actually a lot of things can change. It will already be one extra master plan cycle, agree? Right, so that's why we also want to take this with a pinch of salt before we dive into it. All right, so remember to stay on because later on I'll be giving you a glimpse of prices. Okay, that's on everybody's mind, prices. Okay, so and I also have done a Nava Grove ebook. Okay, so if you want the ebook, type in ebook at the bottom, and then I'll reach out to you. My team will reach out to you to kind of send you the ebook that you can actually get some more information about Nava Grove. All right, so coming back, we are in education town, Katong, as well as Henry Park. Okay, so this is also something that we want to be a little bit more extra careful. We know recently there's one development, say have, then after that don't have. Who to blame? If you ask me, nobody to blame because willing buyer okay. But of course, at the same time, if you ask me, we cannot be fixed because these are all by MOE. How they classify, suddenly they just change their guideline. We also cannot say anything. All right, but at least you are not like damn far away from the school. So for Katong and Henry Park, let's use current, okay, as of today, one map to see the 1 km and 2 km range. So today we are talking about Katong, okay, red color is 1 km. So where is Nava Grove? Nava Grove is, okay, let's use a purple color. Nava Grove is here, okay, Nava Grove is here, right? So you can see that today, how to guess whether is it, I also don't know how to guess. You can't really guess because it spots halfway it seems like it's in the red, but it can also be in the blue So that's why for Katong, nobody can confirm whether it's 1 km to Nava. Even for Henry Park, from the data, it seems like it is, but again, there's no classification at the moment, so we will take this with a pinch of salt. Like I say, I don't want to misinterpret here, but of course, is the schools the only reason you buy this location? No lah. Okay, this could be one of the reason, but if there's only this one reason, then this may not be something more assurance. So we have to kind of take note of that. So also remove the school effect if you can. But no school, no MRT, then can still buy or not? Of course. Later on, I'll share with you all. Okay, because in one of my video, I've actually done some research, okay, regarding the MRT effect as well as the school effect within 1 km. So I just want to do a very quick analysis to show you, right? Doesn't mean that no MRT, no school, no amenities, your property cannot grow, right? Okay, so I'll just want to do a quick analysis to show you, right? So let's say today, right, I just use let me just clear this out. Okay. So let's say just use the the school effect or MRT effect. Okay, let's just use the MRT effect first. So let's say today we are talking about the entire Singapore, and here I can actually choose those within 1 km, okay, of entire location. Let's go a little bit more in depth. Let's just choose District 21. Okay, let's choose District 21 since we are in District 21, and let's just compare whether a 1 km MRT property types in terms of growth over maybe a 10 years period, which one will perform better. All right, so here we will have live data like this, right, to allow us to track the every District 21 properties. All right, we can list down average per square foot, the tenure, what are the unit types, where is the MRT, how far is it away, what's the volume. So we are able to use all this data to help you make better informed assessment on what is happening. So we will plot this chart out, and later on we will see what is the difference. All right, so this is District 21. Of course, the blue line will be what? Within 1 km. Then now let's do another one that is in District 21 away from MRT. So District 21. Then now this time around, I want to choose maybe 1 km to 2 km. Okay, 1 km to 2 km. So that gives us a good indication. All right. So let's just click on this. So the red line is actually away from the MRT, but let us just drag this. So we can actually track records quite a fair bit. But actually both trends are also climbing up, but which one has a little bit more? So let us just take a look. Let's say we use the last high peak, which is 2013. For the one within 1 km, which is the blue color line, we can plot the chart here. And you can see it's about 41.35%. So this is within 1 km growth over the last 10 years niche. All right, then now let's take a look at the away from MRT 1 km. 59.42%, you see. So today, using data, it allows us to what? Widen our scope of perspective. All right, because sometimes we are kind of adamant because we maybe have done it before. We bought a property near MRT and then we realize, hey, we make money out from the property, my property grow. That's why we kind of fixated to it. But in today's climate, I believe many times my role is really to guide you to see from another lens, another perspective. Then we discuss together and see what is the best direction. Like in this case, if let's say today you really insisted on buying within 1 km to MRT, right? It's not that cannot buy that because you may need it for different reasons, like schools or maybe kids traveling time. All these things, yes, we understand. But if you are looking from a data and numbers perspective, hey, then you want to dive in deeper, you see? Because do you agree that today, anything that with schools lah, MRT lah, or the convenience of amenities, there will also be a certain premium being loaded. Agree? So with that premium, right, the question is not about can you buy? It's more of, is it worth that premium? Okay, how much gap of, so that's where we use our gap analysis. How much gap of premium are you actually paying for that? So you'll be surprised sometimes when we do our research. They're actually, because of the MRT, 10 minutes away versus one that is super close by, their per square foot is $700 per square foot, just because of the MRT. So will you pay that $700 per square foot? People buy that. But then to me, it's like, how do I justify that 700 per square foot jump because I'm just 10 minutes away from it? All right, I take Grab every day also won't be so much lah, to be honest. Correct. Imagine you're staying in a 1,000 square foot unit. You're 700,000 more just because you can jump down into the MRT. Every day I just Grab lah. I got chauffeur like Ahmad to send me up and down. Wow, lucky better, right? I don't need to spend 700,000 to be honest. Yeah, so it's not about what is should I buy near an MRT? You all should be looking at another lens, another perspective is it worth it? Okay, the value increase, the gap analysis, is it worth for me to pay this extra amount? Or is it the amount is equal? Of course, equal, you go and choose the MRT one, but if the gap is too high, then please be careful. So what if so this is, I mean, I'm sure you all know in terms of the prices. Okay, so the launch price, how much they bought in terms of plot. So Pinetree actually bought the land at about 1,300 plus per square foot PPR, and which means that their projected break-even price was about 2,250. So during the launch, they actually launched about 2,400 plus, and right now everything has already went up at least 2,005 plus. All right, so this is about 9% profit margin. So for Nava, because it's under harmonization, which is why their land plot they bought lower. So a lot of times people always say, hey, they buy lower, then they'll sell me lower lah. Ask yourself, if you're a business owner, will you do it? Okay, we won't do it lah, because we are all here to make money, even developers, right? It's just a matter of how much margin are they going to go for. So this really depends on the pricing strategy of the developer, which nobody knows until the launch day. So if you really need an in-depth kind of go or no go kind of situation, reach out to us so that before you go for your balloting selection, at least you do all your homework first, then you know whether it's a go or no go, okay, for your purchase. So our estimate is projected break even is about 2001, okay? And with harmonization, we need to add about 8%, or that's the average of harmonization. So which means the projected break even price should be about 2003, about there. This is our guideline. And if let's say we use the same margin as Pinetree, they should be launching about 2,500 baht. So the question is it worth 2,005 in District 21, in OCR fringe, and you're getting the tranquility of the location? But what if, okay, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Remember I say about pricing, I'm super excited, right? What if, and I'll tell you all more, because today I can tell you how good the price is, but if the project is not so good, no matter how good the price is, you won't go and purchase, correct? So that's why I also want to share with you all why this property is good. Even with no MRT, the school's effect will be maybe later than we know, no amenities, no, all these things. Why this is important. And I can share with you, Hina, there's not going to be 9% profit margin. Their launch price not going to be 2005. Break even at 2003, also unlikely. That's why I say price is crazy fantastic. So if you don't feel excited right now, something wrong now. Okay, because I'm super excited. All right, and later on we'll see. Okay, let's see if the pricing can put an icing on later what I'm going to share with you in terms of this development, because this is very important. Not just the price, right? Price, yes, price is a very big indicator, but there's also if the property you can accept or not. If the property not so good, lousy, no matter the price, how good, you also cannot accept. So let us very quickly jump into comparing to Pinetree, right? Okay, I can share with you what Nava is trying to do. Okay, this is Pinetree. Okay, Pinetree. This is Nava. Okay, so you all can see the facing and everything. So you can see Pinetree is all what? This facing one. Okay, all very straight. So what Nava did, right, which is very smart of them, because Pinetree launched first, right? So they got the layout and everything. So they kind of do it in a different way. They're trying to create pockets of unblocked view for Block 32. That's why you can see they use this, right? Then they kind of have a unblocked view. So this is a design bonus. You get for Block 38, you actually get both. You get the Clementi forest view, okay, which is great. And the other side is going to see the further away, because opposite you is Pine Grove, which is low rise. So they actually tilt this entire development so to avoid the high rise of Pine Grove, which is also very smart, you see. So, but of course, one thing I want to share with you all is we don't see things straight line one. Also, correct. We don't see straight line. So our view will definitely see the blocks. Okay, you will definitely see the blocks. So just take note, everybody also sometimes share about pocket sea view, that kind of pocket sea view, but you will see the next building one. Okay, so this is something that we just have to understand from a realistic perspective or reality perspective. Then what happens for the Block 38? Yes, you get a pocket view of Clementi Forest, but this far enough, so it's actually quite good. And for Block 40 and 42, what happens is you get a full forest view. Okay, of course, you have to be high enough. So will this site be considered premium? I always call unblocked view $1 million view, because you buy already, you really, it's worth a lot in terms of your in terms of your staying, and in future people always, if they got the amount, they want to go for higher floor units. So I will believe this will be premium. The back view for this, perhaps potentially yes, because you'll be seeing across Pine Grove low rise. So this is something very important. But for Block 42, right, of course, if today you are going for sorry, give me a second. Give me a second. This is live, right? So Yeah, sorry, yeah, I got a phone call. So this is live. That's why. All right. So another one is that today, if let's say you're going for block 42, okay, all right, lower floors. Wow, then you say maybe I'll just buy the lower floor, lor. It's okay. All right, later on, I'll come back to you all shortly on that. Right. So one thing is today, whichever property you are buying for inward facing, okay, it's actually quite okay because you are still very, very far away in terms. Later, I'll show you all the distance, the actual how far is it. All right, so block 40, if you ask me, low is actually fine. Okay, lower floor, because lower floor means lower entry, and you have a very good setback. Okay, and the view is also very comfortable. So meaning lower floors, you get to see the facilities and everything. All right. If of course, if you want to go to see the lower forest for this side of view, you have to go much higher, or you have to go much higher to see that. But I kind of like the way that they tilt. You can see they tilt it a little bit. All right, so very smart. They tilt it, and I believe they do it so that both block 40 and block 38, when they this side, they will see the low rise of Pine Grove. Okay, so they have their own premium to shout for lah, in any case. Also that's why this is very important. When you are choosing your units, you also need to see how far of a premium are they loading into each block, how much loading are they looking into each floor jump. Okay, it really depending on how the developer going to price this. So whenever we do the selection process, we will do a lot of in-depth to do different parameters to calculate what are your most comfortable margin. Then we will determine which floor type is worth and safe to enter. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so of course for the blocks, as I mentioned, why block 42, you no need to worry even if you're getting a lower floor, because we are actually almost 4 to 5 floor above. Okay, above the Panang Road. Yeah, because the development, everything is raised up. So with the landscaping in front, you have landscaping, I don't know how to draw, landscaping in front, okay? Potentially it can show out some noises, but always also take note, noises do travel upwards. So unless you have concrete in front to help you shield, the trees can reduce, but not totally. So I will definitely expect noise level, and being in such an open area, the noise will just travel upwards. So one of the key things is that for Nava, and this is Nava, okay, in terms of the perspective, and Pine Grove, Pine Tree is also the same. All right, they are also raised up. So both are actually adopting the same design based on this. So that's why we, no matter if you are looking at Nava, you have to look at Pine Tree. Right? You cannot don't look at it. Right? So these two properties, it's just that of course one is launched much earlier, and they are still very attractive units, if you ask me, in Pine Tree. So today, perhaps you may want to actually do both comparisons so that you can do it properly before you actually go for the balloting process. So let's just take a look at the distance. All right. So for block 38, right, this one you can see that it's almost, wow, I also already cannot see it. Okay, it's almost 82 meters. Wow, so it's actually very comfortable for the distance. And one thing you should know, for block 38, if we look at this, block 38, because you are not only just seeing the Clementi forest, you actually, if let's say you are able to get certain mid-floor or even lower floor, it's actually quite nice. Why? Because you get to have A, which is you get to see A, which is your Nava Grove facilities. But you also see Pine Tree facilities. Well, so this one, if you ask me, the distance are far enough for us to actually enjoy a very big landscape of space. And that's why Block 38, if you ask me, they may also load this a little bit more expensive with that. I mean, of course, the key thing is that today, in this kind of location, if I can go high, I go high. But here you got other choices. That means I don't need to pay the premium for such a high floor. I can alternatively choose a different kind of facing, and yet I get the space that I want. So I personally, I love how Block 38 is like. I get to see both. So later on, you want to really stay on, because there's a one property type, okay, one unique layout that I believe is you are getting best of both worlds. So later I'll share with you all. Okay, so you all must stay on. If not, subscribe. If not, later next time I don't do video again for you all to share with you all so much details. Okay. Yeah, so this is something, there's a surprise facing now, so keep watching. And if you have learning so far, okay, you're learning something so far, please also click the subscribe button. It will help me tremendously. Thank you. All right, so let us take a look at how the facilities and everything a little bit. I'm not going to touch on too much. I'm just going to show you roughly where is it. So let's start with the entrance. So the entrance here, when you come in, right, is of course you have a very good roundabout drop-off area. Or now drop-off area is very crucial. Because why? It actually shows the grandness of your development. So these few days I've been house hunting. I've been going property hunting to see. Wow, the moment you drive in, you're like, damn it, this is not me. Okay, so you already have the kind of sense. So, but for Nava Grove, they actually done a very great job. Later on, we'll see it in the bigger space in comparison. All right, so of course, this is now going in is what, basement car park. Okay, basement car park. So of course, they have actually the pedestrian gate here, as well as one more here. So why do they have a second one on the far left? This one actually is the bus. It actually cuts in through a link connector. That you have the bus stop here, and you have an overhead bridge over to another bus stop opposite. So this actually helps you in terms of traveling. Because why? No MRT ma. No MRT, so the alternative is what? You drive or you take public transport, buses. And there's plenty of buses. So one way you go, you can actually, so if you, after you come out, the first bus stop, okay, this bus stop actually goes to Beauty World. Okay, you can take the buses down to Beauty World. But if you go to opposite B, this actually goes to Holland Village. So both also got their ways to go to all the different locations. Very, very convenient. All right, of course, for Nava and Pinetree, actually both of them are going for kind of different styles. Because what I share with you, because you see for Nava, the whole area is a little bit more curvy. A little bit more curvy kind of design. All right, more waves, even the walking path is not straight one. The is like wiggling through this process, right? So this is how the design they are going for. And let's take a look at Pinetree. Well, Pinetree is 死板板, very straight because all their blocks are very straight, right? So which means the facilities that they have are also going to be the very common one, because you will have a kind of a wavy pool here, but then you still have the very standard lap pool. So if you are somebody who prefers lap pool, then Pinetree is your selection. Maybe you need a regular rectangular pool to really time your laps. Then Pinetree, small little things like this, actually it does play a part. Okay, because when we are serving our clients to purchase property, right, there are certain things that us as homeowners or as a home investor are always looking out for. So I remember just the other day I was serving a client. We went to one property, we haven't even stepped into the house, we never even see the facilities. We just reach the floor level, we straight away go to one place where the rubbish dump is. We just go straight there. Then after seeing that rubbish dump, he said, no need to view already. I said, hey, what happened? I said, this is my factor. This is my key consideration factor for a property. I was shocked because everybody was like, but the property price very good, layout, everything. No, rubbish dump cannot. Then I was like, okay, everybody will have their own preference. So is there a good or not good unit? No. It really depends on how much we value each. But what we want to do is also to help you all to match your criteria, your requirement. So at least your entry price we can lower down the risk as much as possible for you to exit either in the future. So this is what we can do to help you match that kind of situation. So if you look at Nava, right, this one is Nava's entrance. Quite nice. Why? Because there's this water cascade. So when you drive in, you actually see this water thing. Maybe it's something to do with feng shui. I also don't know. But the water thing is kind of very interesting. And they provide this kind of entrance for the drop-off. That's why Arrival Plaza with this kind of outlook, very, very, very unique, right? How many of you agree? Just type in yes inside the chat. All right, just type in yes inside the chat. Yeah, so this is something that I believe quite interesting. So let's look at the next thing. Nava is actually under harmonization. So for Nava, you must be expecting that the sizes are very different from Pinetree also. So these are the configurations, the 2 bedrooms ranging from 624 square feet, the premium ones all the way to 700, and the study, 2-bed study to 786. The 3 bedrooms ranging quite a lot from 947 all the way to 1,109 square feet for the 3-bedroom premium. The 4 bedrooms are ranging 1,335, and that's why I said that there's something interesting here. There's actually a 4-bedroom dual key. But this one, nothing fantastic until when I share with you later on. Okay, I'll share with you later on why this is fantastic later on. Of course, you have the 4-bedroom premium plus private relief, 5-bedroom premium plus private relief. So of course, we're not going to compare everything. We're just going to pick the 3, 4, and the 5 to talk about it briefly. Actually, 3 and 4. All right, not even the 5. All right, 5 one should be quite straightforward, but we're going to compare the 3 and the 4. Why do I want to do that? Because I think generally, if today you are looking at this location, chances are you are not looking for a quick turnaround. Okay, you may want to hold this place a little bit longer. Okay, because of the upside in terms of the future transformation, that's one. And also, it's a very rare property that you get this kind of furnishing and design. You want to enjoy it. Okay, really, this place is really for enjoyment, for your peace of mind when you are purchasing this. So, of course, due to harmonization, the key thing is that the sizes are already, you are not paying for the aircon latch. All right. So, in to come, you can see that actually they have laid out quite a fair bit. Okay, quite a fair bit in terms of all the facing, and I'm not going to go into that details. You can see from the color code. So in terms of the numbers of percentage of units, they still load the 2 bedrooms close to 42%. All right, with lower quantum, of course. That's why the purchasing power is there. And the 3-bedroom is about 33%. Okay, 33%. And the 4 bedrooms is about 20%. And we have the 5-bedroom about 4. So usually 5 and 4 are always the very minimum. But I do see that recent years, the developers on new launches has started to increase their 4 and 5-bedroom numbers in terms of percentage, getting bigger and bigger. All right, now due to harmonization, they may even increase those numbers because families' needs do change, and people are still looking at bigger size property for their own stay perspective. So if you ask me, for all the 3 blocks, are they really lousy facing? If you ask me, I don't think so. Whether it's a lower floor, higher floor, inward, outward facing, I believe the developer has done a very good, the architect has done a very good job in terms of laying it out so that they really have the consumer mind when they're designing this, because that's what we are looking for, right? So they try to minimize as much as objections that we will come up with. So the only question is, do you have the S11 to pay for the kind of view and the floor level that you want? Also, that's why later on we will be covering what are the estimated prices. And I tell you, y'all really must stay on. This is going to be so crazy that I'm like tempted, man. So that's why I also want to make sure that you guys have the first-hand information here. Also, this is very, very well designed. They avoided all the dead space, and they really have us in mind when they design this. All right, so let's quickly look into the comparison for the 3 bedrooms. Okay, so on the left side, we have Nava, and the right side, we have Pine. So you can see, because of harmonization, sizes do, there's a little bit of difference. So for Pinetree, right? So for Pinetree, you can see, besides the 969, immediately they jump to a 1216. So there is no in between. That means today is either you pay for 969 or you pay for 1216. And the difference could be easily $400,000 to $500,000 different. Because why? Size jump, all right, the square foot jump. So for Nava, they are actually very smart to also cater, because of harmonization, they cater in the in between. Okay, if you want the in between size from 1,000 niche, 1,001 niche, no choice, you have to go for Nava. Okay, so there is this gap that I believe Nava developers has priced this and designed this with this thought in mind. Of course, harmonization plays a part. All right, so harmonization means everything strings, but yet you are not paying for the aircon latch, which means your overall quantum will also be affordable, all right, which is very important. So averagely right now, right, if you look at the 969, is about 2,400 plus per square foot. Okay, then if you want to go for the 2,000, the 1,216, right, this one jumped to almost 2.9 million already. So that's why there's a huge jump, you see. So today, then if I jump this 400,000, is it worth it? So say I come back to this question: is it worth it for me to buy this kind of size or pay this kind of amount? Because 400,000 or 500,000, but of course there's a difference. There's a difference, because why we are getting a better size unit. Later on, I'll share with you why even I go to pay this 400,000, we must ask ourselves, is it worth? Because they are 1216 is actually a premium plus study. So it's very big. So later on, we'll do a side-to-side comparison to see which one makes more sense. And I want to come to the smaller size compact for the 3-bedroom in terms of comparison for both. So this is Pinetree. This is Nava. Nava, you all have already Nava. Right, so with harmonization, actually both are actually very, very similar. But I believe Nava might have an edge over this. Okay, so I give you all some time to kind of study this a little bit. So why do I say so? I believe the 947 will be a favorite. Because today you can get a 3-bedroom, right, as a dumbbell unit. Very rare in the market. All right, very, very rare. And when we buy a 2-bedroom, we always prefer a dumbbell. Why? Because we save space, right? There's no corridor with the space, that kind of situation. But now they are able to build a 3-bedroom compact dumbbell. So which means you save space in terms of corridor. Very minimum walkway for this kind of configuration. You cannot say no corridor or cannot be no corridor unless you go for the 1990s property, then maybe no walkway lah. But nowadays, all the properties, because of the design, they try to make the space. There's certain guidelines they need to have in terms of the size of the space also. Everything has been kind of created so to get this. All right, so you can see Nava, we have this in terms of space savings. More space, no corridor. Okay, and key thing is also for Nava, you must take note that when we come in, we have an enclosed kitchen. Okay, enclosed kitchen, which is very well. It's 2 sides, so you have more than enough space. And one key thing that everyone is always complaining about for newer properties because of the size is no storeroom. Okay, no storeroom means very difficult. I need to get what? The storage bed. So here they actually have a storeroom. So this storeroom is they created enough to put a lot of stuff, may not, but it's good enough that you have a store. So this is very similar to East Side, the Continuum. They also, all the designs, they also have built storeroom. And I can tell you this is a lifesaver, or lifesaver for anybody. Extra space, everything chunked into the store as much as you can. So the only thing is that today, if you look at Nava Grove versus Pinetree, right? Pinetree, you will have what? The corridor space. Of course, we're talking about AC latch. So all these are actually space that you already paid for in Pinetree. But anyway, 969 also sold out for Pinetree. Okay, everything sold out. So are people so concerned about all these spaces? No, because they're used to it. So even like this kind of walkway space, they also never really bother. They just want to buy this location. They want to go for the safe entry. They go for the smaller size, the compact, and then they move forward. Because why? Remember, the next jump is what? The next jump is very high, 400 to 500,000 more. So not everybody will have that kind of capability. So they rather just push into this. But now today, if let's say today, both properties are become a resale. Okay, both properties after 5 years, after 6 years, when they're TOP, they become a resale or a sub-sale. Which one will you choose to have a better edge in terms of the design and the space efficiency? So this is something that I call you need to also buy with the intention to sell. Very important. Okay, buy with the intention to sell. So the one thing, the very small one thing that for Nava Grove, even though it's a dumbbell, I mean, we can't have everything lah. Or property, we cannot have 10 checklists or 10 checklists or complete one now. There are definitely some pros and cons to it. So the only thing for Nava Grove that I see, because in exchange for the space, okay, no corridor space, all these things, is that today this is a in between stack. So in between stack means what? The kitchen, no window. Okay, your bathroom, no window. So this is the only aspect that we have to accept in exchange for the space, a bigger space for 947, you see. But you get more efficient. Your space is more efficient as a dumbbell unit. So this is the only slight thing that, of course, we cannot say we want everything. It's quite almost impossible. All right. So let us take a look at the bigger 3-bedroom now. Okay, now we look at the bigger 3-bedroom. So you can go up to even 1,100 plus for Nava if you want to, but I'm just using the 1,098 square feet unit to compare. Of course, for Pinetree, the only jump you go is 1,216 square feet, and this is a 3+1. So in comparison, of course, Nava property don't have, this is Nava, just in case, this is Nava, this is Pinetree. Okay. So for Nava, of course, the size-wise is smaller. You don't get a study. And that's the one of the key thing because they are trying to make it more affordable also. More affordable. And today, do we need to ask ourselves based on our living style, do we need that additional study room or not? If we need that additional room, then how much are we paying for it? You see, how much are we paying for it? So because for Nava, right, even their bigger unit, we're talking about the 1109 square foot units and the 1109, they all don't have the what study. None of them, the 3 bedrooms all come with study. If you want bigger one, you have to go for the 4 bedrooms already. You see, so that's why they have this in between size and to kind of allow us to manage our affordability, the pricing better. So Pinetree, if you really need a study, then you have to go bigger, where you have a household shelter. You see, you have a household shelter. Of course, you have a bigger yard also for Pinetree. All right, and you have a proper study. So this is definitely, if you ask me for Pinetree, right, you can really buy and stay for many, many years because the layout, the size is for your kids to grow up in. So you no need to worry that, hey, I don't have enough space in future. Right. So this is something I call a longevity property that when you buy with the intention that, hey, my children are going to grow up here, kind of intention. Right. So this is very decent. But of course, for Pinetree, are we saying that you cannot do that? It really depends on how big is your family, what kind of lifestyle you want. All right. So do my kids really need to have 1 bedroom each in time to come? So all these are consideration factors that you want to know. But just to take note that for the 1098, even though we have a household shelter, okay, let's use the different color. We have a household shelter. We have an additional storage. The yard area is definitely smaller, but it's functional. Okay. The previous batch of developments, you can see that they don't even have yard. They don't even have storage. So now with harmonization, they're able to squeeze in a 1098 with storage as well as additional household shelter. That one can be doubled up as a helper's room. Hey, actually, this is very doable. So I won't go into the measurement. And most of them is quite similar across the board. So I'm trying to skip all these things. I just want to give you all my take on how we select properties. Okay, and what are the key things? So for this kind, of course, if you go for the 1098, then you will start to have what? Windows. You start to have windows. Bathroom also got windows. So these are the additional things that we take note of whenever we buying property. Why windows are important? Maybe say, hey, a mechanical fan also can. Yes, I'm not saying mechanical fan cannot lah. But if today you got window choice, then and that you can help to what? Air out your old place. Like I say, standard of living. Standard of living, very, very important. So that's why when you look at this comparison, these two should be decent for you to even stay on for the next 10 years and beyond. Right. So of course, if we do a comparison like this, I personally, okay, this is my own take. I will go for Pinetree. Okay, I'll go for Pinetree. Yes, the amount is definitely much higher, but like I say, I don't want to shortchange my living style. I don't want to shortchange my family or enjoying a space in this. So I would rather just go bigger. And I just wait for the market to just move forward and I continue staying there happily. Okay, very happily. And I believe my family will appreciate extra space. Got extra space means got different things we can do. If not, you know space, cannot do anything. Like your study, can you turn it into a workstation? Can work office also can. Or you do it into a 面壁思过 room also possible. Also, there are many different things that we can do with space. But of course, you have to calculate, make sure your affordability is also there. Or everybody like big, but can pay or not, that's a different story. Okay, so we're going to come into the numbers later. Remember, we're going to compare all the numbers very quickly in a short while. So let's just quickly look into the 4 bedroom type. Okay, so this is Pinetree, and then we have Nava Grove. All right, so same thing due to harmonization. As for me, if you ask, if my own opinion, I don't know about you all, but my own opinion is I always don't like properties with private lift. I find it, I don't know, a little bit redundant, or maybe I'm not so atas to enjoy that kind of private lift kind of layout. I always believe the foyer, I also can't use it by paying for it kind of situation. But of course, for Pinetree, then this entire space you're paying for it, the aircon ledge you're paying for it. All right, so for 4 bedrooms, typically, besides the lift, so if they don't build the lift, I tell you, this is a winner already. Because I personally also like landscape layout. I like landscape layout. Okay, landscape layout meaning while you come in with a very wide view. It's getting very rare in Singapore. Okay, especially for 3 bedrooms, if you can get a landscape layout, it's very, very rare. The newer ones don't even talk. Okay, 4 bedrooms only. Only 4 bedrooms you will have landscape layout. But of course, it also what there's a trade-off. Then nothing fantastic, nothing is everything is good. Bigger landscape means what? Sorry, landscape layout means what? Bigger balcony. Okay, so this one comes together with it. You cannot say I want a landscape, but I have a small balcony. It's impossible. All right, so something gives and take. So if this parcel A 1292 for Pinetree, right, without lift, without the foyer, right, I will definitely go for this. Okay. But now with the private lift, question mark, question mark. It don't make sense. But let's look at Nava. Okay, Nava, the 4 bedroom, I can share with you, is very structured very, very well. Okay, so one of the key things that I also want to share is today. Okay, so let's just look at Pinetree again. So another factor that I missed out is that what I particularly not say don't like but is kind of a sticky thing to me is today I have 1 bathroom, I have 2 bathroom. That's it. Okay, unless you want to count WC as another one, which I don't know. So you only have one and you have 2 bathroom for 4 bedroom. So 3 person share 1 toilet in the morning rush. How would it be? I never experienced, so I don't want to know. All right. But for Nava, what they have done is they really fit in proper. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 3 bathroom. Okay, 3 bathroom for 4 bedrooms. Okay, I think this is very decent. Of course, everything gives and take this one also comes with household shelter, WC, and everything. So in terms of functionality, if you ask me, okay, without private lift, do I really need? Don't need. Then I think Nava Grove 1335 square feet, everything is usable, functional, very important, enough toilets. So every morning, no need to rush. Especially if today you have kids, younger kids, then no need to worry they all can share, right? But if let's say you are teenagers, or going to adulthood already, then everybody of them are chasing after the toilet, then maybe something so I hope that some of all these things do give you some top percent. Okay, and today the exciting thing I find for this development is that today you get the 3 bedroom dumbbell. Okay, and I want to specially mention this one stack. Okay, why I say that this is a special stack is because in stack 40, right, there's this one stack. Okay, it's the limited edition, I call it, because there's only 24 units. 24 units only. And this one, you are basically buying one for the price of two. Okay, buy one for the price of two. Or should I call it buy two for the price, no, buy two for the price of one. Sorry, buy two for the price of one. And you save on ABSD. Okay, but this kind of situation, nothing is free one. It also comes definitely with a premium. But I believe, okay, good things don't come cheap. So today, if you want to get the best out of this development, the unique one special edition portion, then you may want to look at these 24 units. Okay, and this is a property, right, where you get the best of both worlds, right? Because you get one view, and then you get 2 view. So this is none other than the dual key 4 bedroom. Dual key 4 bedroom, only 24 units, super premium. And today, the 1 bedroom is facing this side. Okay, and the other 3 bedroom is facing the entire landscaping of Nava as well as Pinetree. Okay, let me share with you the layout. Very important. Okay, I tell you, I drew when I saw this development. Okay, so saw this unit because it's a show flat unit. So even if you don't have intention, please go and make an appointment with me so that we can go and take a look and let you understand what is I call quality. Okay, quality are very important. There's a surprise later I'll share with you. So you must continue watch on. Okay, continue watch on because I have a surprise later I share with you. What have Nava Grove developer done? I think it's going to revolutionize the entire market in terms of our kitchen. Okay, I give you a hint. Later I'll cover and share with you. So what you have is you have this side where the entire 1 bedroom is. So dual key, in case some of you don't know, dual key means that today I can actually rent out one area and I can stay on the other area. And this helps a lot of homeowners where today we only have one chance to buy a property, because if we buy the second property, we will have to cover with 20% ABSD, which is a lot of money. So buying a dual key, yes, it may be loading with certain premium, but it is still cheaper than you buying a second property and pay that 20%. So buying this 4-bedroom dual key allowed me to stay in the 3-bedroom very comfortably as a family, and my 1-bedroom, I can rent it out and I can generate income from it. All right, so this is something that we can, you can also explore. And some of us, if let's say some of you, maybe you're looking for a bigger 5-bedroom, then you may also want to consider a 4+1 dual key, so that you have what? Flexibility. Or do we really want to use up all? So I've come across properties where they really buy a 4-bedroom dual key, right? In the end, they turn the 1-bedroom, they remove all the kitchen and everything and turn it into a proper bedroom instead, 2-bedroom instead. So they actually expanded from that position. So you have more flexibility to work with this. But one thing that I've seen so many different dual key, right? This is the only dual key that when I walk into the 1-bedroom here, okay, it is really a hotel suite. Okay, the way that I see how they done it is really a hotel suite. And how many dual key have you seen now? It comes with a balcony one. Very rare one. Very rare to have a balcony. Right? So to me, this is a suite with a balcony. And remember just now I shared where your view is. Your view is actually seeing Clementi forest. So if you go high enough, wow, not bad. It's really like a MBS kind of unblocked. Of course, not MBS, but you get what I mean. And what you get is you also get a functional kitchen. A very functional kitchen, not only on one side. Usually it's only one side open, right? You actually have both sides. You have 2 sides of kitchen. I tell you, this is really done very, very nice. And why are they able to do this, right? And I mentioned just now, they are going to revolutionize the entire kitchen space, right? It's because they are cooking hot, all right? It's actually concealed one. Later on, I'll share with you what have they done with a video. So you must stay tuned. All right, this one very important, because this is how I believe if the developers want to spend the kind of cost to make it more premium, right? I think all developments that is at least 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or even 1-bedroom should have this cooking style instead of the conventional induction cooker. Right? They should have this. But of course, the concealed cooker the cooker hob, right, is only in dual key, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom compact for this development for Nava. And can you imagine you cooking on a sinister stone? You are cooking on a sinister stone, and this stone, if you don't cook already, you can use it as your tabletop to eat. You can use your tabletop to write things. You can place your hand there. Later on our video, I show you. This is from the supplier side, developer side. So I believe that also help to save space, because everybody now with harmonization, everything kind of clamps down. So you need a cooking area, but yet you also need a prep area. So with this sinister stone induction surface or concealed one, it actually helps a lot. That today, once I cook, once I prepare my things, I can use it to cook immediately. I no need to find another place to do that. So save space lah. And the stone on the tabletop, I tell you, Mamma Mia, really very nice, very tastefully done. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's really very, very class, very class. And when you are there, then you will know why I am so excited that today I must quickly share with you. And this is the one thing that I want to share with you all. And the second thing I'm going to share with you all is the price. So really don't go away, stay tuned, because I'm going to cover the pricing of this property very soon. Okay. So for 4-bedroom, the other 3-bedroom side is actually very comfortable. And remember your view. Your view is actually seeing the entire Nava facilities, landscaping, and Pinetree Hill facilities as well. So very large, very long landscaping that you can see all the way. You can see all the way. Very long perspective, very unblocked. And this is, if money is not a concern, why not? Okay, so this is something that I believe that today you have more flexibility. So if let's say price is not really an issue and you really want to get something that you can actually have more leeway to play with instead of paying the 20% ABSD, the dual key is something that you may really seriously want to consider, and you can keep this for a longer period, right? So the one thing that I want to share with you all is the biggest trap that a lot of people, they went into this kind of balloting and they do not they did not take into account to do preparation. They just go with the flow, and then they don't know what they're doing. Then when they're being called a number, they just anyhow choose. So I'm going to share with you all what are the key things that you all should take note of during the process. During the process. So at least you have some fighting chance, and maybe certain pricing are already went up, but because you have not done your homework, you don't know what's your limitation, and you just walk away, which actually is a very big mistake sometimes. That's why my team's role, and to help you is to make sure that you know where's your threshold, what's the buffer, and how can we measure that in terms of our selection later on, right? That's why your affordability is very important with our limitation. Okay, we must always calculate making sure our finances are right first. Then we see what kind of pricing, kind of level, what kind of facing, what is the loading, then we can determine which one is safer for us. So you must always know your limitations on where you can go for. Or we don't just buy because every one of us want to buy big, high. But money every month can pay or not? Is it going to be stressful or not? All these things we must calculate ahead. Then of course your unit selection. Okay, we also will help you with the unit selection versus your affordability. Okay, so this is very important. So should we go for a lower floor if it's safer for us? But if we can actually go up a little bit, maybe like mid-floor level, is it going to crash us in terms of money mortgages? So all these things, we will have a table, we have a certain framework that we guide you through in the selection process. Another thing that we have to be extremely careful is also per floor jump. Okay, sometimes the floor can be jumping 12,000, 20,000, 25,000. I've seen 100,000 even. And if you are selecting wrongly, you may be choosing the wrong type of properties. Why? Because your purchase is higher than others, which means your exit in future will also be a little bit harder because you pay more. All right, so these are some of the things we will also guide you through. And most importantly is what's the best case alternatives. So today you may have a certain price point that you want to go for Nava, for example. Okay, of course, we all hope and pray that you also get a good ballot number, but that one is a 50-50 chance, right? Nobody knows. So the 1 or 2 days before the ballot, then you will know whether you got a fighting chance to it. But what if your queue number is very, very far away? What else are we going for? Have we already started preparing ahead so that you can take the first mover advantage to actually go for your second options, perhaps? Because why? Because you are not the only one who may not have a fighting chance. Maybe there's many others also. And the good units out there could be all snapped up by others if you don't do your homework much earlier. So this is where we will guide you step by step. All right. So last but not least is what is the walk-away price? Is it too high that I should just walk away? Is it too complicated? The floor level is not that I wanted, but I've been forced to look into it because that's the only way. And then I'm in the queue since morning. If I don't buy something, it's like 我对不起自己, it's like I regret if I don't buy. Then you'll be falling into the emotional trap. Okay, so we are here to kind of act as your support, act as your benchmark to tell you this is unsafe, let's move forward. Okay, we have to help you to do that. We're not here to just ask you to buy. Okay, we have come across many who went through that process. They reach out to me and say that, Emma, did I buy correctly or not? The moment you ask me this question, that means you have not done your homework. Okay, so we want to prevent you from falling into that emotional trap also. So lean on our shoulder, we will tell you, should we yes or go or no go? Very important. All right. So very important. So let us look at pricing now. Okay, so right now, if you look at the entire new sales price trend, right, for all the different region, right, this is OCR, this is RCR, and this is CCR. You can see the price gap between them for OCR and RCR has been quite consistent. But for RCR to CCR, you can see it went from 45%, then it went up to 59%, and then now the price gap has actually narrowed down. Okay, so of course, when you see this way, they say, hey, that means I should go and buy CCR because the gap is narrowing. I should go for it. Nothing wrong with buying CCR. Okay, although there's a lot of people who are saying that, no, I cannot go into CCR. We're not saying cannot go, but generally CCR, the quantum is much bigger. So we also need to look at our affordability. Is it a price point that we can enter? And also something that we also have to highlight is what is your holding period? Because for CCR, right, yes, you may be going in because the gap is very small. Okay, it's a good opt-in period. But my research actually tells me that even if today you want to buy, right, it will be beyond 5 years for you to actually see a jump in terms of the percentage. because the future CCR developments are not going to happen in the short term, in the next 1 to 2 years. It will not happen so soon. But is it coming in the next 5 to 8 years? Yes, definitely. That's why today we need to what? Put where our money is in the right location that has transformation growth first. We can go in, we exit, and then we move on to another location. So this is why these are all based on the data and research that we have done it. But this is not the most exciting. The exciting part is later. All right. So of course, I also pull out certain RCR new launch, new prices, price trend. You can see that the average, let's just use 3-bedroom as a guideline, is averagely about already 2.75 million. So people can accept this kind of price point at average about $2,500 per square foot average. And this is the entire RCR trend. So we will go narrower and narrower to see how has the pricing been for us. Okay, very important. So now this is District 21. Just on District 21, averagely also about 2007. Of course, this one comprises of what? Older properties as well, because this is since 2019 onwards. So there are some slightly older properties. We also take it in comparison. Averagely already what? 2,400 plus. So in District 21, whether it's a new property, RCR is already 2005 plus. District 21 have hovering is about 2004, close to 2005. By Pinetree is already crossing 2005 mark. So that's why this is a very good benchmark. A very good benchmark that today, people around in that location already can accept this price. So if today your pricing is equal, or maybe slightly more premium because it's newer, you're getting a fresh lease, then you're actually quite safe. Because the older properties that is maybe 5 years are already transacting at the price that you're going for. So this is what we call, when we study the gap analysis, right? It helps us to benchmark our entry so that we can exit well in future. Also, to give you some overview, Resale residences, 3 bedrooms already what? 2.7 million range. All right. And then for one Holland village, already $2,900, $3,000 per square foot. Of course, Holland is more towards Holland side. So this is a little different. Then what about Pinetree? Let's take a look. Okay, so Pinetree, remember, right now is going about 2004, 2005 range. Okay, averagely. But remember, we still need to add on the estimated 5% to normalize the pricing. All right, so this is something that you all can use this as a guide. And Park Suite with no facilities, nothing much. They are already going at about 2003, 2004 plus per square foot, averagely. So today, if you enter Nava at about 2004 to 2005, is it too much of a premium or not? We have to ask ourselves. And these are all slightly older properties with not much facilities, also smaller developments, also not near MRT, and people are already paying 2004 plus to 2005. All right. So of course, for Nava, we need to add a 5% premium. All right, because why? You are going to be purchasing a brand new, and today you can get at the same price. Why not? All right, so if we move further downwards a little bit to further down to District 21, right, to Daintree. All right, Daintree also not near MRT. Also not near MRT. So you're about maybe 5 to 6 minutes to MRT, to Tembusu, so quite near for amenities now. But the resale, you can see, is already 2001, 2002 per square foot. And this is like quite far away already, actually. Okay, quite far away already. Also not near MRT, all right. So today, right, when we work out this, has it been proven that actually people in this location, bare minimum 2002, 2003 for a slightly older property, they can already accept. Okay, when you talk about older, anything that is not POP is older. Okay, 3 years is also considered old, 4 years is also considered old. Then of course we have the champion of the champion where Bukit Sembawang's A&BT, all right, transacted more than $3,000 per square foot. Of course, this is the maximum. The average is still about 2.5. The average is about 2.5. So 2.5, 2.4, actually quite reasonable. So these are all comparing the new properties around, or how have they been developed. But if you look at the general average resale price, general average resale, right, you can see, and this is in District 21, the average 20 is about what? 2,000. Of course, there are PSF, you have the older ones, which is much bigger, but the acceptance in terms of price, that one very important. Because of harmonization, right, you also need to look at quantum, right? People can accept about 2.3, 2.4 million average pricing already. You see? So today, right, I always don't know pricing. We all won't know the pricing until the actual valid day. That's why, but we like to what? Over-prepare. We want to over-prepare so that we don't get stuck in the same situation with pricing. So with all this data, then we will calculate, okay, what is happening? So for example, the average prices. Let's just use 3-bedroom. So RCR, new properties, people are already accepting about 2.7 million. The District 21 itself is also about 2.7, 2.8 million. The District 21 resale at 2.3 million. So the question is, if let's say for Nava, what is an estimate quantum that can be accepted in a new lease property and going to be ready in the next, by 2028, there about 2027, 2028, right? So we're looking into the future prices. So let's just look at, let's say 3-bedroom. What if Nava Grove are launching about 2.3 million? And then the 4-bedroom going about 3,000, about 3.2 million range. And then the 5-bedroom about 4.2 million range. So these are all question mark, right? We actually don't know. All right, but like I say, stay on. Very soon I'm going to share with you what is the pricing. Okay, because we have some hints here and there I already given you. But before you all go for your selection, be it whether it's this project or you need help in other developments, right? Always remember to do your price matrix. So I'm going to show you an example. This is just an example. This is not for Nava. Okay, this is not for Nava. So we'll do the different price point. Okay, we do a different price point so that we can know based on the different size, based on the different type of property, right? How much the average per square foot. Then we will be able to determine from affordability, we will compare. Because today, right, if you choose the wrong property, you may fall into a big trap. So what do I mean by this? So I want to share with you, let's say, for example, we just use 2500 as a benchmark now. We use 2500. This is not Nava. Again, this is just an example of a random project. I'm just using this as an example. So let's say, for example, today I go for, maybe you are choosing between an 883. Let's say, maybe you're choosing between 883, okay, at 2.7, 2.2 million, okay, versus a 904. Maybe you're choosing these two. You say you don't know which one you should go for. Wow, the size are smaller, bigger. I mean, all these are good. But from a pricing perspective, that's where I'll come in and guide you. Because why? Then I will see the difference. What's the difference in terms of the jump? Okay, we're talking about the same floor now. The price loading for different floor, different facing also different. So we have thousands of computations that we need to help you do before you actually choose a property. Also, actually, there's a lot of work. How many will agree? The research itself actually does play a part. And then when it comes to the final numbers, you all know exactly what is happening, you see. So that's why whenever you all do this, right, we need to be by your side all the way. Before, during, and after. So that you all are being protected all the way. Because if not, suddenly one person just tell you something else, you also lost already. You say, hey, don't know whether this pricing or not. That's why we need to prepare ahead. Or it's like going to battlefield, something like that. Then the next thing that, if let's say this jump is what? If this jump is about 52,000, is it worth for me to buy or not? We don't know. So that's why you need to start doing more comparison, right? So let's say today you are comparing 904 square feet and 969. Okay, comparing these two now. Then you will start comparing these two prices. And the gap is what? 162,000. So in this case, you should go for you should go for 904 or should go for 969. What should you go for? All right, you always want the gap, the difference to be smaller. So this is one example of how we do. So when we are doing a comparison, then we will list them down. Okay, we will list them down. What are the difference in terms of the price point per size also, per floor, per facing. We will calculate everything until we will come down to a very clear direction on how our property selection is going to be. And it will be like, example like this. If let's say the difference of $2,500 per square foot, you will definitely go for at least the 904 because the price gap is smallest. Or you go for the 990. The rest are a lot more bigger. So this is just based on pricing. Of course, you have to consider your situation, your family size, what are your needs and wants in the layout, the facing, the unit. All these things are separate, but this is just using pricing. So this is extremely crucial. How many of you find that this is extremely crucial during that day? Because when the price release, it's a mad rush on it. Only until the last minute when it's your queue, then you know the prices. That's why without anybody guiding you, I don't know how are you going to make a decision. So my role is to protect you from that chaotic noises. And then we have already prepared ourselves ahead so that you know what you need to do. And we help you to do the comparison that you can walk into the property safely so that when you buy, you can sell next time. So just now I was sharing, right? Today, Nava Grove bought the land at 1,223 per square foot. Projected break-even is about 2001. And if we add in 8% harmonization, they should be about, break-even should be about 2003 to 2004 per square foot. If we add in Pinetree's 9% profit margin, they should be launching about 2,500 plus. Okay, so this is, you hear from me. So this is, if you hear from me the first time, give me more loves, give me more subscribe. Okay, share with more friends, because this is the price point that's going to come up. I tell you, okay, 2 bedrooms from $2,200 per square foot. The 3 bedroom, the smaller size ones, are going from 2,300 per square foot only. The bigger ones at 1,000, the 4 bedrooms are only going at 2,002 plus per square foot. Dual key, 2,003 plus per square foot. I tell you, the prices here, as I mentioned just now, is not just to sell one. It's really to crush the market one, or crush the market of all the other launches out there. That's why this is very exciting for us to actually give you all the first mover advantage, so that you all can understand how pricing is. And again, I share with you all Nava Grove based on, don't just look at the pricing also. Whatever I share with you, you all find that, hey, this is something really very interesting that I did not see the unique point about this project, right? Which means that in time to come, when you become a resale seller, people are also buying into this development because of the same reason. And most important right now, your prices are fantastic, are crazy enough. So that's why I believe that today, because there's still time, all right, for the preview is happening soon. Reach out to us so that we can see what we can do to help you, do the booking for the viewing, the VVIP. So to see the quality, the material, and everything. And that's how you'll be able to determine whether this property is, this project is actually good for you. So with that, I want you all to maybe scan in the QR code. All right. So, so to be upfront, because Emirate of Katong and Chong Park already been delayed. So I know some of you have been waiting for those due to your familiarity with location or whichever the situation, right? But again, if we continue to wait, will there be enough choices for us? Because it's a balloting process, right? If today your ballot is no good, that means you don't have that chance anymore. Since this one is the first one, and if this property is suitable based on location, based on pricing, based on what I've shared with you, it makes more sense. And you're looking for one property that has this kind of unique settings in a very prime location, then you may want to scan the QR code and let us analyze with you together and see what is better in terms of your property journey. Okay, so a few takeaways I want you all to have. First, make sure that you do comparison. Don't just enter into purchasing with nothing. All right, you need to do certain comparison, certain price guide, so that you can go in with very firm confidence. And always analyze per floor price, always, right? And don't overpay for a premium. Remember my gap analysis I shared with you. Is it worth paying for that extra premium? Extra 3 floor, 4 floor higher. Does it make sense for me to pay that premium? Very important. And last but not least, you also must also have at least, all right, 12 to 18 months of safety buffer to tie through difficult times in terms of your payment of the property. Of course, for new properties, usually the first 3 years, you don't need to worry too much, because it's a progressive payment. But beyond that, you still need to factor into the full mortgage full mortgage payment, right? And see if anything happens, can you tie through this process? The last thing you want to do is you buy a property and then you can only pay 3 years. I do have people who reach out to us and say that, hey, Eamon, I can buy, but I only can pay up to 3 years. After that, I must die myself. Can we do it? All right. I tell you, I run far away, because it's very risky, very dangerous. And my role is not to put you at risk. My role is to make sure that it's comfortable for you, you're confident in doing it, so that 3, 4 years, 5 years later, we will still do business together. All right. So that's my business model. It's a very long-term arrangement. That's why we are here to help you to enter safe, so that you can exit even safer later on. And whatever I share with you today is exactly how we ourselves also buy new properties, new launch properties ourselves. So we're not here just to tell you what to do and then we don't do. So we have been very actively doing property, and even just this year, last year we entered another one. We just sold off another new one. We are re-entering the market again. So we are constantly doing, because different strategies change differently. All right. So I hope that today's Nava Grove versus Pinetree Hill comparison do give you a better insight and start looking at it from a perspective from a home investor. So this is Coach Evan Tan, and I see you guys real soon. And do reach out, scan the QR code if you want to get a second opinion regarding your property journey, be it whether it's a resale, new launch, or what you should you be selling a property or not. Let us help you get a clearer picture to have more confidence. All right, with that, Coach Evan.